Jake Reaper Donnelly straddled his Harley in the parking lot of Red's Diner, a roadside restaurant just outside Nashville, Tennessee. His son Tommy sat behind him, 8 years old, small for his age, gripping Jake's leather vest with both hands. "You okay back there?" Jake called over the rumble of the engine. "Yeah, Dad." Jake smiled beneath his helmet. Tommy loved these rides, the power of the bike, the freedom of the road, the feeling of being close to his father. Jake cut the engine and helped Tommy off. The boy stumbled slightly, legs wobbly from the vibration. "Takes getting used to," Jake said, steadying him. "You did good." Tommy beamed. At 8, his son idolized him. Saw the leather vest with its club patches, the tattoos covering both arms, the respect or fear Jake commanded wherever he went. What Tommy didn't see yet, what Jake hoped he'd never have to see, was the violence, the darkness, the price of being Reaper in the Iron Brotherhood MC. "Why are we here, Dad?" Tommy asked as they walked toward the diner. "Mom usually makes dinner. Your mom's working late shift at the hospital, and I wanted to take you somewhere. Teach you something." "What?" "You'll see." Red's Diner was classic Americana. Red vinyl booths, checkered floors, a jukebox in the corner playing country music. The smell of grease and coffee hit them as they entered. Conversation stopped. Every head turned. Customers stared at Jake, 6'3", built like a linebacker, covered in tattoos, wearing the Iron Brotherhood colors. His presence filled the room with tension. Jake was used to it. Fear followed him everywhere. "Table for two?" The waitress, mid-50s, name tag reading Debbie, approached cautiously. "Yeah." "Booth in the back." She led them to a corner booth. Jake sat facing the door, always aware of exits, always watching for threats. Old habits from 20 years in the life. Tommy slid in across from him, excited. "Can I get a burger?" "You can get whatever you want, kid." Debbie handed them menus. "I'll give you a minute." As she walked away, Jake scanned the restaurant. Friday night, decent crowd. Families, truckers, couples, all of them stealing glances at him, whispering. Let them look, Jake thought. I'm just here for dinner with my son. But then he saw her. She sat in a booth by the window, mid-30s, thin, with tired eyes and clothes that had been washed too many times. Next to her a boy about 6 years old, wearing a jacket too small for him. Between them, one plate of spaghetti. Jake watched as the woman divided the food carefully, pushing most of it toward her son, taking a few bites herself. "Mama, you didn't take much," the boy said. "I'm not very hungry, sweetie." "You eat, but you said you were hungry earlier." "I had a big lunch. Really, eat your dinner." The boy ate, and the mother watched him with such fierce love that Jake felt something twist in his chest. He knew that look. He'd seen it before, on his own mother's face, 30 years ago. 30 years ago. Jake was 7, sitting in a rundown apartment in Detroit with his mother, Rebecca. His father had left when Jake was 4, just walked out one day and never came back. His mother worked 3 jobs trying to keep them afloat, but some weeks there just wasn't enough. "Mama, why aren't you eating?" 7-year-old Jake had asked, watching her push most of her dinner onto his plate. "I ate at work, baby. I'm full." But Jake had seen the lie in her eyes, seen how her hands shook from hunger, seen how she'd gotten thinner and thinner as the months passed. She'd sacrificed everything for him. Food, warmth, her own health, all of it given to her son so he could survive. When Jake was 12, his mother collapsed at work. Malnutrition, the doctors said. Her body had been running on empty for too long. She recovered, but Jake never forgot. Never forgot what she'd given up. What love looked like when it cost everything. Present day. "Dad?" Tommy's voice pulled Jake back. "You okay?" "Yeah, kid, just thinking." "About what?" "About when I was your age." Debbie returned. "Ready to order?" 2 bacon cheeseburgers, fries, onion rings, 2 chocolate milkshakes, Jake said. Then, gesturing toward the woman and boy by the window, "And whatever they're having, put it on my tab. Bring them dessert too." Debbie blinked. "Sir, you heard me. Whatever they want, I'm paying. And Debbie, don't tell them it's me. Just say it's on the house. That's very generous, and just do it." After Debbie left, Tommy stared at his father. "Why are we paying for them?" "Because they need it." "How do you know?" "Look at them, Tommy. Really look." Tommy turned. The woman was still dividing her small portion, giving most to her son. Her jacket had patches on the elbows. The boy's shoes had holes. "They're sharing one meal," Tommy said quietly. "Yeah. You know why? Because they're poor?" Because that mama loves her kid more than she loves herself. She's going hungry so he can eat. That's real love, Tommy. That's real strength. Is that what you wanted to teach me? Part of it. Their food arrived. Massive burgers, mountains of fries. Tommy's eyes went wide. This is a lot of food, Dad. Eat what you can. We'll take the rest home to your mom. As they ate, Jake kept watching the woman and boy. Debbie approached their table with menus, speaking quietly. The woman's face showed confusion, then disbelief, then tears. I can't accept charity, Jake heard her say. It's not charity, Mom. Someone paid for your meal already. They wanted you to have a proper dinner. Who? They asked to remain anonymous. The woman looked around the restaurant, trying to identify her benefactor. Her eyes passed over Jake without recognition. He was just another customer. She turned back to Debbie, tears flowing. Thank you, tell them thank you. Debbie took their order. This time the woman ordered a real meal for both of them, chicken, vegetables, bread. And when Debbie suggested dessert, the woman hesitated, then nodded. Apple pie, for both of us. After Debbie left, the woman held her son's hands. See, baby? Sometimes angels appear when you need them most. Who was it, Mama? I don't know. But whoever they are, they're good people. Tommy watched this, then turned to his father. Dad, she's crying. Those are good tears, relief tears. Why did you do it? You don't even know her. I don't need to know her. I know what she's going through. I lived it. When you were little. Yeah, my mama, your grandma Rebecca, she did the same thing. Went hungry so I could eat. Worked herself half to death so I could have clothes and shoes. She gave me everything. Is that why you wanted me to see this? Partly. Tommy, the world's going to tell you that strength means being tough, being scary, not backing down from fights. And yeah, sometimes that's necessary. But real strength? Real strength is seeing someone who needs help and helping them, even when nobody's watching, even when you get nothing in return. Tommy processed this, looking between his father and the woman by the window. Are you strong, Dad? I'm trying to be. Every day I'm trying. They were halfway through dinner when trouble walked in. 3 men, mid-20s, loud, drunk. They stumbled through the door laughing, shoving each other, oblivious to the discomfort they caused. Jake's instincts kicked in immediately. He assessed them in seconds, intoxicated, aggressive, looking for trouble. They took a booth near the woman and her son, started talking loudly, cursing, making crude jokes. The woman shifted uncomfortably, pulling her son closer. Mama, those men are being mean, the boy whispered. Just ignore them, sweetie. Eat your dinner. But the men noticed her. Hey, look at this. One of them, tall with a scraggly beard, said loudly. Single mom and her kid. Bet she's here looking for a man to pay her bills. His friends laughed. The woman's face flushed red. She stared at her plate, trying to be invisible. I'm talking to you, sweetheart, the man continued. What's your story? Daddy run off, or did you never have one? Please leave us alone, the woman said quietly. Ooh, she speaks. What's your name, honey? Jake's jaw clenched. He could feel rage building, the same rage that had gotten him into fights his whole life, that had earned him his reputation, that had landed him in prison twice. But he had Tommy with him. He couldn't just start swinging. Not yet. Ignore them, Dad, Tommy whispered, sensing the tension. I'm trying, kid. The drunk man stood, walked over to the woman's booth. Come on, don't be rude. I'm just trying to be friendly. I asked you to leave us alone. And I'm asking you to be social. What's the problem? The restaurant had gone silent. Everyone watching, but no one intervening. That's how it always was. People looked away, let it happen, told themselves it wasn't their business. Jake couldn't. He stood. Jake's movement was deliberate, slow. He walked toward the drunk man with the kind of calm that was more terrifying than anger. The man turned, saw Jake coming. His bravado faltered. Hey, man, we're just talking. No, Jake said, his voice low and deadly. You're harassing a woman and her kid. That ends now. Who the hell are you? Someone who's asking you nicely to leave them alone and go sit down. The man's friends stood, trying to look tough. But Jake's presence was overwhelming. His size, his scars, his reputation written across his leather vest. Iron Brotherhood MC, Nashville chapter, Sergeant at Arms. Anyone who knew anything about motorcycle clubs knew what that meant. Jake was an enforcer, the one who handled problems, the one other members called when things needed to get violent. We're not looking for trouble, one of the friends said, clearly the smarter of the three. Then walk away. The drunk man wasn't smart. You can't tell us what to do. This is a public place. Jake stepped closer, close enough that the man had to look up at him. I'm asking you one more time. Walk away. Leave them alone. Or what? Jake smiled, a cold, dangerous smile that had preceded violence many times before. Or you find out why they call me Reaper. The tension in the diner was thick enough to cut. Everyone watching, waiting for the explosion. Tommy's small voice cut through. Dad? Jake turned. His son looked scared, not of the drunk men, but of him, of what his father might become. That look stopped Jake cold. He turned back to the drunk man. You know what? You're not worth it. Yeah, that's right, walk away. But if you bother that woman or her kid again, I'll find you. And trust me, you don't want that. Jake returned to his booth, leaving the drunk men confused and the restaurant buzzing with whispered conversations. Dad, you scared me, Tommy said quietly. I'm sorry, kid, I can't let people hurt others, not when I can stop it. You didn't hurt him. No, because you were watching, because I want you to learn that violence is the last option, not the first, even when every part of me wanted to break that guy's face. Why? Because I'm trying to be better than I was, better than what people expect. I've done a lot of bad things in my life, Tommy. Hurt people I shouldn't have. And I don't want you growing up thinking that's who I am. That's who I was. I'm trying to be different. The drunk men left shortly after, smart enough to recognize they'd dodged something dangerous. The woman caught Jake's eye from across the restaurant, mouthed, "Thank you." Jake nodded once. That was enough. After dinner, as Jake was paying the bill, the woman approached him. Her son held her hand, shy. "Excuse me," she said. "I wanted to thank you. For helping us." "Ooh, no need." "Yes, there is. You paid for our meal. You stood up for us. I don't even know your name." "Jake. I'm Sarah. This is my son, Ben." "Hi," Ben said softly. Tommy waved from beside his father. "I'm Tommy." Sarah looked at Jake's vest, the patches, the Iron Brotherhood insignia. "You're with the club." "Yeah. And you helped us anyway?" "Why wouldn't I?" "Because people usually don't. They see us, single mom, struggling, barely surviving, and they look away. Or worse, they judge, say I should have made better choices, should have done this or that, like poverty is a moral failing." Jake understood. He'd been on the receiving end of that judgment his whole childhood. "I was where your kid is," Jake said, "watching my mom sacrifice everything, going hungry so I could eat. I know what that's like. So yeah, I helped, because someone should have helped us back then, but nobody did." Sarah's eyes filled with tears. "Thank you, really. This meal, it's the first real food we've had in 3 days. I just lost my job, we're behind on rent, and I was down to my last $12. I was going to make it last, but Ben was so hungry." "Hey, it's okay. You did what you had to do. You're a good mom." "I don't feel like a good mom. I feel like I'm failing him." "You're not. Trust me. He's got food, he's got you, he's got love. That's more than a lot of kids have." Sarah wiped her eyes. "Can I ask you something?" "Sure. Why? Why help strangers? You could have ignored us." Jake glanced at Tommy. "Because I'm trying to teach my son that strength isn't about being the toughest or the scariest. It's about protecting people who can't protect themselves. About seeing someone struggling and choosing to help instead of looking away. That's a good lesson. I hope so. I wasn't taught that growing up. Had to learn it the hard way." Sarah pulled a napkin from her pocket, wrote down a number. "This is my phone number. If there's ever anything I can do to repay you." "There's nothing to repay. But if you need help, call. I know people. Might be able to help you find work." "Really? Really? No promises, but I'll make some calls." "Thank you. You're a good man, Jake." After Sarah and Ben left, Jake and Tommy returned to the motorcycle. As Jake helped Tommy with his helmet, the boy asked, "Dad, are we rich?" "No, kid, we're comfortable. Why?" "Because we had enough money to buy them dinner." "Does that make us rich?" "In a way, yeah. Being able to help someone else, that's a kind of wealth. But it's not about the money, Tommy. It's about choosing to use what you have to make things better. You understand?" "I think so." They rode home in silence, Tommy holding tight, Jake thinking about Sarah and Ben, about his own mother, about the cycles of poverty and struggle that trapped so many people, about how sometimes one meal could mean everything. At home, Jake's wife Elena was waiting. She worked as a nurse at Vanderbilt Hospital. Long shifts, hard work, but good pay. "How was dinner?" she asked, kissing Tommy's head as he ran inside. "It was good, Mom. Dad bought food for a poor lady and her kid, and then some drunk guys were mean and Dad scared them. Elena raised an eyebrow at Jake. Scared them? Didn't touch them. Just made my presence known. With Tommy there? I kept it under control, mostly. After Tommy went to bed, Elena confronted Jake in their bedroom. Tell me what really happened. Jake explained everything. Sarah and Ben, the shared meal, the drunk men, his intervention. You could have been arrested, Elena said. Or worse, hurt, with our son watching. I know, but I couldn't let those assholes harass her. I'm not saying you should have. I'm saying you need to be careful. Tommy idolizes you. What he sees you do, that becomes his model for how men behave. I'm trying, Elena, I'm trying to be better. I know you are. She softened, touching his face. And paying for their meal. Standing up for them. That's the Jake I fell in love with. Not Reaper, the feared biker. But Jake, the man who cares too much and pretends he doesn't. I gave her my number. Told her I'd help her find work. You did? Yeah. Figured I know enough business owners who owe me favors. Might be able to place her somewhere. That's good. That's really good, Jake. They lay in bed together, and Jake thought about the evening. About Tommy's questions, about Sarah's tears, about the drunk men who'd almost turned him back into the violent person he was trying to leave behind. Eleanor? Yeah? Do you think Tommy will grow up okay, despite having me as a father? Jake, you're a good father. Flawed, but good. And tonight, you taught him something important. That's all we can do. Teach them, love them, hope they become better than we were. I hope so. 3 days later, Jake made good on his promise. He called Marco, who owned a chain of grocery stores. I need a favor. Reaper, you know I owe you. What do you need? Got a woman, single mom, just lost her job. She's a hard worker, just needs a chance. You hiring? Always. Tell her to come by tomorrow. I'll interview her personally. Jake called Sarah. Got you an interview. Marco's Grocers on West End. Tomorrow at 10 a.m. Tell him Jake sent you. Sarah's voice choked with emotion. You didn't have to do this. I said I would. Just go to the interview. The rest is up to you. I will. Thank you. Thank you so much. Sarah got the job. Started the next week. Decent pay, benefits, steady hours. She called Jake to thank him. This changes everything. I can pay rent now. Get Ben some new clothes. I can't thank you enough. You don't need to thank me. Just take care of your kid. That's all the thanks I need. But word spread. In Jake's world, the motorcycle club, the underground networks, helping people was unusual. Being soft made you a target. His club president, a man called Hammer, called him in. Reaper, we need to talk. Jake went to the clubhouse, a warehouse on the outskirts of Nashville where the Iron Brotherhood met. Hammer sat in the back office, surrounded by other senior members, all of them looking at Jake with various expressions of concern or disapproval. I hear you're playing charity, Hammer said. I helped a single mom. So what? So clubs are talking, saying you're going soft. That Reaper's lost his edge. My edge is fine. I helped someone who needed help. Since when is that a problem? Since it makes us look weak. We're the Iron Brotherhood, not the Salvation Army. Jake's temper flared. You want to tell me what I can do with my own money, with my own time? I'm telling you that your reputation affects the club's reputation. If people think you're soft, they think we're soft. That invites trouble. Then let trouble come. I'll handle it like I always have. Will you? Or will you be too busy playing hero to remember your Iron Brotherhood first? Jake stepped closer to Hammer. I've been Iron Brotherhood for 20 years. Bled for this club. Gone to prison for this club. Done things I'm not proud of for this club. Don't question my loyalty. Hammer held his gaze. Then remember where your priorities are. Family, club, everything else. In that order. My family includes my son, and I'm trying to teach him to be a better man than I am. If the club has a problem with that, maybe I'm in the wrong club. The room went silent. Threatening to leave the club was serious. Once you were in, you were supposed to be in for life. Hammer leaned back. Nobody's asking you to leave, Reaper. We're just reminding you who you are. I know who I am. Do you? Jake left the clubhouse angry, but unbowed. 2 weeks later, the consequences of Jake's actions came to a head. A rival club, the Devil's Chains, decided to test the Iron Brotherhood's softness. They vandalized one of the club's businesses, left a message, heard Reaper's gone soft, prove us wrong. Hammer called an emergency meeting. This is what I was talking about, they're testing us. So we respond, Jake said. Hit them back hard. Thought you were all about peace and charity now. I'm about protecting my family and my club. They want violence? I'll give them violence. But Hammer had another idea. No, we're going to handle this different. We're going to show them that being strong doesn't mean being stupid. Jake, you're going to negotiate. What? You heard me. You wanted to show there's a different way? Prove it. Meet with their president, work this out without bloodshed. Can you do that? It was a test. Jake knew it. Hammer was challenging him to back up his words with actions. Yeah, I can do that. The meeting was set for neutral ground, a bar downtown, public enough that neither side would start trouble. Jake went alone, as agreed. The Devil's Chain's president, a man called Viper, was already there. Mid-40s, scarred, dangerous. Reaper, heard a lot about you. Likewise. So Hammer sends you to negotiate. Interesting choice. He sent me because I'm good at ending problems. Question is whether I end them with words or fists. Your choice. Viper smiled. Direct, I respect that. Here's my issue. Your club's going soft. You personally are going soft. That creates opportunities. For us, for others. Can't have a weak club in our territory. We're not weak, we're strategic. There's a difference. Explain. Violence costs. Money, time, freedom, lives. Every fight we get into risks everything we've built. So we're choosing our battles. Helping the community, building legitimate businesses, staying strong without constant war. That's not weakness, that's evolution. Sounds like weakness to me. Then you're short-sighted. 5 years from now we'll be legitimate, wealthy, and untouchable. You'll still be fighting turf wars and dodging cops. Who's smarter? Viper considered. You make a point. But your actions, helping random people, playing hero, that's not club behavior. It's my behavior, and it doesn't affect club business. I help people on my time, with my money. But I'm still Reaper. Still dangerous when I need to be? You want to test that? Not particularly, I've heard the stories. Then we have an understanding. Your club leaves ours alone. We leave yours alone. We coexist, we profit, we avoid unnecessary bloodshed. Deal? Viper extended his hand. Deal, but Reaper, you ever do go soft for real, this deal's off. Fair enough. They shook hands, and the conflict ended without a single punch thrown. 6 months later, Jake's life had found a new balance. He was still Iron Brotherhood, still attended meetings, still handled club business, but he'd also become something else, a community figure. Sarah, the woman from the diner, had thrived. She'd been promoted twice at Marco's, was making good money, had moved into a better apartment. She'd introduced Jake to other struggling families, single parents, veterans, people who'd fallen through the cracks. And Jake had helped them, too. Job placements, bill payments, connections to resources. You're building a network, Eleanor observed one evening. I guess I am. It's beautiful, scary, but beautiful. Scary how? Because you're becoming important to a lot of people. If something happens to you, nothing's going to happen to me. You don't know that. You're still in the club, still dealing with dangerous people. I'm careful. You're compassionate. That's different than careful. Tommy, now 9 years old, had noticed the changes too. He'd started asking to help, wanting to go with Jake when he delivered groceries to families, asking questions about why people struggled, suggesting ideas for how to help. Dad, can we do a food drive at my school? Tommy asked one Saturday morning. A food drive? Yeah, we collect food and give it to families who need it. My teacher said it's a good project. Jake looked at Elena, who smiled and nodded. Yeah, kid, we can do a food drive. The project was a success. Tommy's school collected over 500 pounds of food, which Jake and other club members distributed to families in need. The local newspaper ran a story. Motorcycle Club gives back. Iron Brotherhood feeds families. Hammer called Jake after the article published. Saw the paper, nice PR. Wasn't about PR, was about helping people. I know, and Reaper, I was wrong. What you're doing, it's not weakness, it's smart. We're getting legitimate respect now. Business owners want to work with us. Cops aren't hassling us. Community trusts us. That's worth more than any territory we could fight for. Glad you see it that way. Just keep doing what you're doing. But stay safe, yeah? A lot of people depending on you now. 1 year later, Red's Diner held a special event, Community Appreciation Night. Local heroes, firefighters, teachers, volunteers were being honored, and Jake had been invited. Why me? He'd asked when he got the invitation. Because you've helped dozens of families, the organizer explained. You've changed lives, that deserves recognition. Jake didn't want to go. He wasn't comfortable with attention. But Tommy begged him. Please, Dad, I want everyone to know how cool you are. So Jake went. bringing Eleanor and Tommy. The diner was packed. People Jake had helped over the past year were there. Sarah and Ben, other families, community members. When Jake's name was called, the room erupted in applause. He walked to the front, uncomfortable in a button-down shirt instead of his leather vest. "I don't really do speeches," Jake said into the microphone, "but I'll try. A year ago, I came here with my son. We saw a mother and child sharing one meal. It reminded me of my own childhood, of my own mother's sacrifice, and I realized I had a choice, ignore it or help. I chose to help. Not because I'm special or heroic, but because when you see someone struggling, you have two options, look away or do something, and I'm tired of looking away. My son taught me that, by asking questions, by watching, by challenging me to be better than I was. So this recognition, it's not just for me, it's for Tommy, for teaching me. It's for my wife Elena, for supporting me, and it's for every person who's ever chosen compassion over indifference." He looked at Sarah, sitting with Ben. "It's for mothers who sacrifice everything for their kids. You're the real heroes." The applause was deafening. After the ceremony, Sarah approached with Ben. The boy was bigger now, healthier, wearing new clothes. "You changed our lives," Sarah said. "We're doing so well now. Ben's in a good school, we have a real apartment, I got promoted again, and it all started because you paid for one meal. I'm glad you're doing well. It's more than well. It's hope. It's believing things can get better. You gave us that." Ben tugged on Jake's shirt. "Mr. Jake?" "Yeah, buddy? I want to be like you when I grow up. Help people." Jake knelt down to Ben's level. "You know what? You're already like me. You're brave, you're kind, and you care about your mom. That's all you need. Just keep being that." As they drove home that night, Tommy said, "Dad, today was cool." "Yeah? Yeah. Everyone loves you. You're like a superhero." "I'm not a superhero, kid. I'm just a guy trying to do better. That's what superheroes do, Dad. They try to do better. They help people." Jake smiled. "When did you get so smart?" "I learned from you." At home, after Tommy was asleep, Jake stood in the garage looking at his motorcycle. 20 years in the club, 20 years of violence, fear, reputation. But the last year had been different, better. He'd learned that strength wasn't about intimidation. It was about protection, about standing between vulnerable people and harm, about using power to lift others up, not push them down. His phone buzzed. A text from Hammer. "Good job tonight. You're making us all proud. Keep it up." Another text from Sarah. "Thank you for everything. You're proof that angels exist." Jake didn't believe in angels, but he believed in second chances, in change, in the possibility that even someone like him, scarred, damaged, violent, could become better, could become the kind of man his son was proud to call Dad. He went inside, kissed Elena goodnight, checked on Tommy one more time. His son slept peacefully, clutching a drawing he'd made. Jake on his motorcycle, helping people, with the caption, "My dad, the hero." Jake wasn't a hero, but he was trying. And maybe, just maybe, that was enough. 5 years later, the Iron Brotherhood Community Center opened on a Saturday morning. Jake stood with Hammer, Elena, and Tommy, now 14, cutting the ribbon. The center offered job training, food assistance, counseling services, and support for families in need, funded by the club's legitimate businesses and staffed by volunteers. "Never thought I'd see the day," Hammer said. "A motorcycle club running a charity. We're more than what people expect," Jake replied. "Because of you. You showed us a different way." Tommy, nearly as tall as his father now, smiled. "Dad, Ben's here. Can I go say hi?" "Yeah, go ahead." Ben, now 11, confident and healthy, ran over with Sarah. They'd become like extended family over the years. "This is amazing," Sarah said, looking at the center. "All because of one meal at a diner." "One meal," Jake agreed. "One moment of choosing to help instead of look away. Funny how small things become big things. That's what you taught me. And Ben, and dozens of other people. That small acts of kindness matter. They do. More than we know." As the ceremony ended and people toured the center, Jake stood with Elena, watching the community they'd helped build. "Proud of you," Elena said. "Couldn't have done it without you." "I know, but still, you turned your reputation for violence into a reputation for compassion. That takes real strength. I had good teachers. You, Tommy. Even that scared kid I used to be, watching his mother go hungry. Your mother would be proud too." "I hope so." Tommy returned, bringing friends, kids from school, kids from the neighborhood, all of them excited about the center, about helping, about making a difference. Jake watched his son, confident, compassionate, strong in ways Jake had never been at that age. And he realized this was the legacy that mattered, not fear, not reputation, but teaching the next generation that power without compassion was worthless, that real strength meant protecting those who couldn't protect themselves, that one meal, one moment of kindness, one choice to help instead of look away, could change everything.